Hello everyone, this is so weird. I thought that for the entirety of this channel, you would only be seeing me as other people. So hello, it's nice to meet you because I guess I've never talked to you as myself before. It is so nice to meet you. My name is Reegan. I am a 21-year-old actress. I am a college student. I'm in my last year at the University of Central Florida, and I'm about to earn my degree in entertainment management with a minor in film studies. I enjoy anything creative, so that includes acting, video making, fashion, DIY projects, cosplay. Oh, I love cosplay. If you have seen my Instagram or my TikTok or anything, you would know that I'm very much into costume construction, and oh, I just love it so much. I love anything where I get to be somebody else, so. I also love traveling, working out, reading, playing chess. I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I've got too many hobbies to count. In a nutshell, that's pretty much me. So if you're wondering what the origin story of this channel is, it's actually sort of an interesting one. I created this account about a year and a half ago. I think it was the summer of 2019, for the sole purpose of storage, because it was becoming a little bit hectic trying to remember what computer or what flash drive or what SD card I had XYZ video on, and I was like, I just need to put everything on some sort of online storage unit or cloud, completely not thinking that anybody would ever see my videos, and they didn't for quite a long time. But as most of you know, one of my videos went a little bit viral a couple months ago. It was my Open the Door monologue. It's sitting at a little over 100,000 views right now, which is absolutely insane that that many people have watched me do that monologue. And it's crazy because I'm like, I feel like I could do that so much better now, but it is what it is. I have a collection of questions that have been asked on my channel basically since that video started circulating, whether it be in comment sections or in my Instagram DMs. The questions that I got asked most frequently, the ones that were the most interesting to me, and the ones that I feel like I could give the best advice on. So the first question I have is, how did you get started? I got started in theater, which is where a lot of people get started, and it's funny because I have always known my entire life that I wanted to go into film acting. Film has been my passion since a very young age, and I always knew that I wanted to act for the screen, and I had this idea in my head for so many years in my childhood that if I wanted to act for film, I wasn't allowed to like theater. And that is such a backwards thought, because truly, if you love acting, you should love it in all of its forms. And I did theater super consistently throughout high school. It was like my whole life. I was very, very involved in my theater department at school. I also did community theater, and honestly, those were some of the best experiences of my life. I gained so many friends. I had so many good experiences. I was able to even direct a show at one point. So yeah, I loved theater, and I always tell people that that is an amazing place to start if you're wondering how to get into acting, because theater is so readily available. Is there an actor/actress you take inspiration from? Short answer, yes. Who don't I take inspiration from? Oh my goodness. Just to name a few, I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg.
Zendaya, Anya Taylor-Joy, Angelina Jolie, Kristen Stewart, Winona Ryder, Margot Robbie, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson, Jessica Chastain, Haley Steinfeld.
I mean, that is like tip of the iceberg. If you couldn't be an actor, what would you be? Within the film industry, I would be a film critic, believe it or not. I love film analysis and film review, and I love writing about film. Outside of the industry, if I couldn't do something within the film or entertainment industry, I think I would be doing something in forensics, probably. I am super intrigued by anything dark and disturbing. I think that's why I love horror movies, hence a lot of the horror movies you see behind me. Someone said, what's your favorite movie? And I put it in here because I love talking about my favorite movie. My favorite movie is right behind me on the wall. You can see. This is the poster for Kick-Ass. I know that's probably the last movie you ever expected me to say, but that is absolutely 100% my favorite movie, and the reason why it's my favorite movie is because it took two genres that I typically don't like at all and made it something I loved. I really like this question. Somebody asked, what's your favorite thing about acting? My favorite thing about acting and filmmaking in general is that it provides an opportunity for immortality. if that makes any sense, because morbid or not, we're all gonna die, but through filmmaking and acting, you're creating something that is going to outlive you. So now I'm going to move into the more general acting advice questions that I've gotten. Before I start this section though, I want to say that I am not an acting coach. I am in no way, shape, or form telling you that this is what you should do. What might work for me may not work for you. Alright, so I'm going to start with the question that I think I have gotten the absolute most, and that is, how do you cry on cue? It's probably not what you want to hear, but for me it's just kind of something that happens naturally through the progression of a scene, but I totally understand if you are new to acting. The first thing I would say is, if you're worried about crying in a scene, don't. Like, just don't stress about it, because honestly, you thinking about the fact that you need to cry in the scene and focusing on that is already the worst thing you can do, because you're taking yourself out of the scene, you're separating yourself from the character, and you're not focusing on the text and the scene and the person that you're talking to anymore, because you're worried about what you as an actor need to do with your body. I'm guilty. I'll give you an anecdote right now. I was in The Crucible in high school. I played Abigail Williams, who, fun fact, is my favorite character of all time. Favorite character I've ever played. I love her so much. We love The Crucible. I had taken it upon myself to make a pact that every night I had to produce one singular tear that would fall down my face at this one particular line, and if I didn't do that, I was convinced that my entire performance for the whole show was trash. So if you're thinking like that,
stop it. Get some help.
I would suggest substitution. And what substitution is you are swapping in something in your real life that would evoke that emotion naturally within you so that it will come out in the scene. Let's say you're doing a scene and the family dog has just died, but you've never had a pet, so you can't really relate to that. So you're like, what's something else in my life that would legitimately make me sad that I could think about while this scene is happening so that I can gear myself up? So you might be like, oh, it would make me really sad if my dad died. So instead of thinking about the dog dying when you're doing that scene, you're going to think about your dad dying. And as you grow as an actor and you become more comfortable with being in front of the camera, you won't have to use substitution as much, and it will become an emergency solution for you to use when you're not able to connect to your character that day. The next question is another one that I get all the time, and for me I feel like it's so obvious, but I guess it's not. Where do you get your monologues? I transcribe them. I don't know why people are so surprised at this. Don't waste your time scouring the internet for a monologue you're never gonna find. Just transcribe it yourself. Another one that a lot of people asked was, how do you get an agent? And I think that this one was kind of interesting too, because I remember what I used to think was the process of getting an agent, and then when I actually got an agent, I realized that that was completely wrong. So it's actually not nearly as complicated as people usually think. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could end up acquiring an agent, but the most typical way is just submitting materials either electronically or by mail, which would be headshots and a resume usually, and possibly a demo reel. And then if they're interested in you, they contact you, and then you go from there. So it's rather simple, but the process of being appealing to them and actually getting selected is the tricky part. When you get an agent, you're entering into a business partnership with them, shaking hands and agreeing that we're gonna make each other money, basically. So an agent isn't going to want to sign you if they don't think that you're going to book roles, because if you're not booking roles, they're not making money. Agents are going to be looking for people that have resumes that speak for themselves, good sets of headshots, a look that they don't have in their roster right now. There's a lot of factors that go into why an agent may or may not want you, but you can do things to put your best foot forward and give yourself the best shot to be appealing to an agency. Having experience, active training. They don't want to see that you did one class 5 years ago. They want to see that you're actively training now and taking your craft seriously. A really good set of professional headshots. It's super important because headshots are sometimes the only thing a casting director will see. So you have to be able to sell yourself as an actor through a picture a lot of times, which is really hard. You also have to be a nice person. You have to be somebody that this agent not only wants to work with and spend time with as a person, but thinks that other people would want to work with and spend time with. And then I guess to go along with that, I got another question that was, is there a way to get jobs without having an agent? And the answer is yes, absolutely. You have to be able to find jobs on your own to be able to build your resume and be appealing to an agent. And that's sort of that like catch-22 that comes with getting an agent, where it's like, well, you can't get jobs without an agent, but you can't get an agent unless you have jobs. For me, the place where I found pretty much all of my jobs before I had an agent was Facebook, believe it or not. Facebook groups. There are so many acting Facebook groups and so many auditions for short films most of the time, because there's so many universities that kids in the film programs need actors for, and that is a great way to be able to get some experience on a set and get some footage for your demo. I even was able to get a Red Lobster commercial from Facebook. Like, somebody said, how easy is it / what's the process of actually becoming an actor? And this is definitely a loaded question because there isn't one answer to it. No, it's not easy. It's actually rather hard most of the time. It's not talent that makes an actor, it's the perseverance. Don't learn and then start and then learn. If you want to act, start doing it. In any capacity, just do it. Literally, Nike swoosh it, just do that shit. Like, join theater, join a class, make a YouTube video, like, just do it. And don't think that, oh, I have to be this good before I do this, or I have to, acquire this knowledge before I do this. You don't. You really don't. Another question is, how do you get into character? Getting into character is something that as you grow as an actor, you'll be able to turn on and off like a switch. However, it does help me a lot of the time to take 30 seconds to a minute to just close my eyes and breathe and meditate on the character and fully slip into that character and surrender my essence over to that character before I start a scene. I find myself doing this a lot before a very emotional scene, like for the knife scene. I remember closing my eyes for about 30 seconds and really just breathing myself into Marie so that I was prepared to give this performance in an authentic way. And when I opened my eyes, I was just ready to go. And if you're still having trouble, I would do exercises such as journaling as the character, or walking into a room as a character and inspecting the room as a character. Like, how would this character walk into the room? How would they react to all the things in the room? How would they touch things in the room? It's different for everybody, but whatever works for you, do that. All right, and the last question I think I'm going to answer for today is, how do you practice / improve as an actor? Whew. I've got some thoughts on this. My biggest one is watching yourself, because you are able to see exactly what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and what you like and what you don't like, and you're able to pick it apart and make it better. I used to not be able to cry very well in front of a camera. I could cry, but for some reason I felt like my face and my brain weren't connecting, because in my head and my heart I was truly feeling those emotions, but for some reason on my face it almost looked like I was fake crying, but I wasn't. Literally pulled out cameras when I was legitimately crying and recorded myself crying to see what I actually looked like real crying, and it was the exact same. So I was like, oh my god, I'm just a lost cause. And then through watching myself doing scenes and crying over and over and over again, I was able to pick apart little things of what I was doing and eventually train the muscles in my face to move in the way I want to. And I became so familiar with the way certain muscles moving in my face felt that even when I'm not looking in a mirror, I know exactly what my face looks like. I am fully in control of what my face is doing at all times. And that has changed the game for me. All right, well, I have looked through my little document that I drafted today, and I think that is about all of the questions that I have compiled for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and more than that, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do something like this. Maybe I could make a video like this once a month or something, in between monologues and whatnot. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe down below. I make monologue videos all the time. Also, my Instagram, my TikTok. My motto is make your 5-year-old self proud today, and that's what I like to end all of my videos with. So make your 5-year-old self proud today if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!